heart attack, fast fatal heart impact, past painful scars. In fact, I blast tasteful bars and pass. I back up my actions, fact, don't ask, grab reactions, jacked, attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose, pick a new silver excuse. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember, you're discreet out. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Q Show here, and now, whenever we last left off with this series, we had Deku and Rumi, or Mirako. Now, in the last part, Deku and Mirako, they were looking around Island. Deku looking at some of the technology that many people were inventing. And Mirako, she found this place to be very confusing and surprising. Well, she does understand some tech she does see. She doesn't understand what it can do, or how it may actually function. Yes, she knows about some of the things Deku's invented, but that's because he's explained them to her. Now, she has actually grown a little bit smarter just from being around Deku. But with the fact that she doesn't really think because of her personality, and she's more of a jumping into the action type person, I do want to say that she is knowledgeable, just not in the same departments as Deku. Now, with that being said, Mirako, she saw Deku actually face off against somebody who has an intelligence quirk. And not only did Deku show off how smart he truly was, he embarrassed somebody who they proclaimed to be just as smart as him. Mirako, she was annoyed. She was going to beat up a spoiled rich girl. But Deku did one better. He shattered her ego. She believes herself to be the smartest person on the planet, since nobody can challenge her or is even remotely close to her intelligence. And Deku proved her wrong, by giving her the simplest question she could not answer. And Deku, he solved one that, if you were to compare the two, it's basically like putting 2 plus 2 against an advanced algebra problem, and telling the same person to try and solve both. Now, that's the simplest explanation I can give for what that question was like. With that being said, you do also actually have Mirako today, who, right now, her and Deku, they're both sitting at a table. She's still thinking about everything that happened yesterday, the day prior. It's just very strange. She's always been kind of curious. She knows that he's a very smart and intelligent person. But really, she's never asked that one simple question. How smart is he? He said he can solve 5 problems that are nearly or should be impossible for regular people to solve. People still haven't solved. And there's about 14 of those problems. He solved about a little more than a third of them? About almost half? That's still crazy to her. If Intelli buckled, well, if Sako Intelli buckled on that first question, it was the easiest. What does that say about Deku? Izuku? Deku actually going to bring down his coffee as he is going to set down a tablet. Yeah? I had a bit of a question. Her going to bring up her hand, and someone just poke at the oatmeal she has sitting in front of her. I know we don't usually talk about things like this, but after what happened yesterday, I'm kind of curious. You and Intelli both have intelligence quirks, right? Yeah, I do. And so does she, I believe. Okay. So, which one of you... Well, actually, I think that's not the right phrase since I already know the answer to this. How smart are you actually? Well, that's actually a very complicated question. Let me put it this way. Humans have a skill for intelligence, right? Yeah. And with the way quirks have popped up, that scale has actually somewhat extended higher, thanks to intelligence-based quirks. Okay. So, what would you have to say about it? Well, if I had to put it into terms, Mr. Nezu, Miss Intelli, and I were three of the smartest people on the planet. None of us are on the scale. Really? Yeah. Rumi, I can't really tell you what my IQ is because I don't really know. The whole problem is, if I had to put it into terms, let's see. Einstein, Edison, and Tesla. All three very smart men who revolutionized the world. Tesla primarily did so. Let me put it this way. Put all three of their IQs together, and I guess that's the closest you can really put me to. Uh, but that still doesn't make sense. Yeah, I know, it's just the simplest I can explain it. Okay. Well, thanks. Um, so, how's everything been going with you? Well, my body's calmed down some. That's very good. But at the same time, my mom, she got in my head, and so did my dad. Both of them. They don't, well, you know. Yeah, I know. None of them like me. Well, yeah, I guess that's the best way to say it. I get it, Remy. But, like I said, we have different circumstances. Everything that happened to us growing up, they shape who we are as people. But really, when it comes to you and me, we're nearly opposites. I mean, granted, your circumstances were different than mine. Mm-hmm, I know. But that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It means we can learn from them. We can grow. And I mean, like I did say, maybe after all this is over, we could. Hmm? We could what? Deku's not looking away, as he does sip his coffee. That idea in his head, he didn't think whenever he started speaking. Those words that were about to come in his mouth, they weren't his own, were they? Shit. Um, Never mind. Are you okay, Izuku? Yeah, I'm just not used to this, okay? It's still very much strange to me. I know. You're not used to dealing with your emotions like I'm not used to dealing with my anger? Hmm. Yeah, that's actually kind of a good comparison. But then again, I do understand where you come from with that. The two continue their conversation, as eventually somebody does come walking up to them. And you do actually have Melissa's shield. She does ask Mr. Bakugo if she can sit down and they can talk for a minute. And it is actually kind of surprising. Now, if I remember correctly, Deku, he is at the age of 22 or 23. Well, Melissa will be around 21, if I remember correctly. Or 21 or 20. Now, she does sit down and join the two for breakfast, as she actually does at least try to go over some information with Mr. Bakugo. And Mirko, she's just sitting there. As Deku, he does at least inform her as to his actual reason for being here. from what he can tell, everything he's looked over in the SHIELD department shows no signs of taking or at least dabbling in his own technology. And Deku, he does find it quite fascinating. He can see right now if Miss Shield is trustworthy, and if she is and provides the ability to be a very, very valuable, well, ally right now, there's a possibility to build trust. She will have the knowledge he trusts her, and in turn, she will trust him going forwards. The two can build a bridge and actually be able to have enough trust to most likely work one day together. Whereas that could take anywhere from months to years of working together to get to that point, they can shorten that time. And Deku, he's well aware. Now, you do actually have Melissa, who, whenever Deku does go to reach for the tablet, he does go to do one simple thing. He scoots it over to her, informing her that this is everything he got off of Miss Intelli's phone. And that from what he's seen here, everything on this file here, it shows to be in coordination or in conjunction with the corresponding files over here that have been lost. And it's actually very surprising, the way everything Miss Intelli has constructed on her phone. These files and data and things backed up. It's interesting to her. She does even look over some schematics Intelli has made based on some of Deku's previous designs. It does appear that the company that was made, well, it was a burner company or a fall company, the actual profits go back to the Intelli Corporation. It was a subdivision they created. Now, well, that actually is very interesting to Melissa. She actually does look over Intelli's designs. Not only as an engineer does she see some problems with the way they are made of with the material, there's actually the fact that they were constructed very cheaply. In fact, you can see this from a mile away. And it does actually somewhat confuse Mirako. She actually does see as Deku does scoot closer to Melissa, and at least go to reach his hand in, informing her that right here, as he's going to zoom in on his, well, tablet, and informing that these are everything he does see right here that do not correspond correctly. And the two are doing a lot more scientific talk, which Mirako, she cannot really keep up with. However, she is watching how Deku does work. It's kind of intriguing. It reminds her of Ryuko in a sort of way. And right now, it's very surprising. This being where Mirako, she actually just feels a tap on her shoulder. Her going to turn, expecting to see Ryuko, her friend, along with some other people from the agency. However, the moment she actually does turn and go to look up, she sees a pair of white rabbit ears, which immediately make her jump to stand. Mother? Now, Deku immediately freezes hearing that word, before going to look up to his right, as he does see Mirako with her mom, her brother, and her father right behind her. And Deku, he immediately just thinks, the fact that they are here right now, it means everything is going to go sideways. They can't be here for this mission, nor can they even really get here. How the fuck is that possible? Hi. It's been a minute. I can't believe you just ran off on us like that. I told you where I was going. I said I was going on a hero mission. Yes, well, Rumi, we're quite aware of that, but we realized that this is actually a very interesting place. We wanted to take a look around ourselves. Okay, I get that. Now, Deku can tell by the look on, well, Reina's face, Mirako's mother, she wants to track Mirako. And there's the look on Warren's face. The man, he looks kind of smug. However, there's that expression. Yeah, they can follow them. They know where they're headed to. They can always come by. It won't be so easy to just shake them off for a few weeks. And this is where Warren, he actually just walk over and sit down, as he does see the blonde woman next to Deku. So, Let me guess. Your mistress or your secretary? I'm sorry, what did you just call me? Melissa? Uh, no. This is Melissa Shield, an engineer and a very, very intelligent woman. She is helping me right now recover my lost technology that was stolen from me a few months back. I see. So, you're smart enough to create things but not get them back on your own? Warren, I'm going to tell you this as politely as I can. The technology I've created, do you want to know exactly what it could do? Please, enlighten me. Okay, most certainly. Warren, my technology. I'm only going to list the four that were stolen. The four I created, where only one of them was a project I was willing to pursue because of how the other three were so dangerous. Are you ready? Here's number one, a power source strong enough, long lasting enough, and tiny enough to where a room, or even a fraction of it, if I were to build a machine as small as this table, it could send an entire building, if you were to put a rocket on the bottom of it, to Mars and back. How about that? Or how about the nanites I designed to clean up the ocean and completely end every single piece of trash you see on the street? The nanobites were a project I abandoned because one day I saw exactly how devastating they could be. They're able to eat through solid flesh and bone within the span of seconds. Now, Warren, he just kind of looks at Deku surprised at that one. He had a project that dangerous and it got away from him. He's about to get enraged and stand up talking about how Deku's an idiot. However, before he can even stand, Deku goes to stand up, slamming his hands on the table, and informing him about the power source also being able to be used in a gun that he designed to be able to disintegrate things for construction work. The gun, however, thanks to the excess power the gun could not handle or should not have been able to handle, basically turned it into a living death ray, where it is not only capable of knocking out a dragon hero like Ryuko, it might be possible of killing All Might, a weapon that could destroy an entire city block or even a city with a full power skilled blast. And he then goes on talking about the machine that was also going to be used in construction work as an ulterior, a gravity fluctuation machine or a gravity gun, where the abilities of this said machine were able to lift over 30 tons of material. However, if it were to be faulty or malfunction improperly because of the gravity inverter, then that 30 tons can come right back down to the ground. Or it can drift off somewhere and eventually fall on somebody. Now, Warren, he does see how serious Deku's gotten. As you actually have Deku's, well, not Deku, you do actually have Miriko's brother. Who, well, he was kind of surprised that Deku was being this aggressive with his father. He did somewhat go to stand up, and Deku he immediately did go to turn his head to look at the guy, as for a second he thought that guy was going to try and rush him. So he went to go reach his hand down and go to press a button on his watch. Now, the man he does stand up, as he does coyly, or at least shyly, try to ask exactly why would Deku create things like that? Well, Reggie, that's not their intended purpose. The weapons, the inventions, they're designed to be used in a way that are not hostile to regular people. However, because of my brain, you could say, the way I designed them, you can use them as weapons theoretically, but they're not supposed to be like that. In fact, I thought of ulterior ways to solve that problem, but even then they just turn into other weapons. That's why I scrapped them. That's why I was going to have them destroyed. Yes, they're great works, and the gravity fluctuation machine. It could be used in conjunction with the power source to create a rocket for Mars, or even put gravity on the moon. But it's just, anytime I try to think of a device that has a certain function, or would be able to do good in certain areas of expertise, there's always that one simple thing: the idea of it being used for the wrong purpose. That's just the whole thing. An unstable explosion of the power source can level an entire city as well. If I've run the numbers correctly, it could sink this entire island if done improperly. Now, Warren and Melissa, they do look at Deku surprised. Melissa was aware of Deku's inventions being stolen, but she wasn't aware as to the actual use of the inventions. From what she understood, Deku, he just lost tech. Okay, so that's not really too bad. But now, what the fuck? Nanites capable of eating people are probably on this island. A power source or a gun powerful enough to sink this entire island. And then something that could probably send this island into the stratosphere, into space, that's way out of her league. Everything she's hearing, it's crazy. And right now, she's kind of realizing exactly how bad this all might be. Her going to stand up and tell Mr. Bakugo that she's going to be leaving right now. She needs to go inform island security as to preventative measures, in case any of that stuff is on the island. And she just get up and quickly go to run off. And Deku, he does go to watch as she does leave, turning back to Warren. So, what do you think of all that? I see. Well, I see that you clearly are hiding something else, aren't you? Warren, I'm not the one hiding anything. In fact, have you told your daughter about the investigators you had looking at me? Now, Warren, he does freeze. His expression, it fades off of his face, as Mirko turns to look at her father, asking exactly, did he do what? Yeah, Mirko, or Rumi. Did your father ever explain to you why he sent men to look into my past? I'm sorry. Dad, is this true? Mirko, or Rumi, it's not what you think. I had to be sure that he what? That he, go on, I'm waiting for an answer. That he wasn't just using your ditzy little girl, huh? The girl who can't think for herself, right? I know that's always what you thought of me. You want to try and take care of me. You always want to try and just get in my business. But you need to stay out of my life like that, Dad. If I want you there, you'll be there. I'll tell you. But if you're just gonna do this, then that's it. Now, Mirko, she does at least go to say something else, asking if her father knows about the pregnancy test incident that her mother is responsible for. And as that was brought up, you do actually have where Warren and Rhea do look at each other. Warren, he did not know about that. However, Rhea, she's trying to plead ignorance. And there is actually where the two, they do somewhat start having a bit of an argument. While Reggie's sitting there, he does just stare at the two. Now, you do actually have where the two, they started arguing, and Deku, him and Mirko, did go to walk away. As Mirko, while she is angry, she doesn't feel, well, mad. She feels more annoyed. Those two, they always do this. They always try to track her, keep an eye on her. Hell, they just are so controlling. And she doesn't understand why. Now, the two, after leaving, they actually do go to start investigating the island a bit more. And while Mirako, she is annoyed, she can actually see the expression on Deku's face. Deku, his expression's somewhat relatable in the way he's looking at her. It doesn't show a form of sympathy, it doesn't show a form of, well, what's the best word for it? Envy. It shows a bit of concern. Because while Deku, he's somewhat coming to terms with his own father at the moment, Mirako is having the opposite. While her father was there, he's being put in arm's length now. She's finally telling him off, telling her parents to just leave her alone and stay out of her life like that. Well, right now, Deku, he's going through the process of letting his father back into his life. Now, we actually do cut back over to Warren and Rhea. While the two were arguing, Warren, he does learn something. The moment he learns this, he does have a bit of a shift in his own way of thinking about Deku. Deku, he was honest with him and talking to him whenever he bought his company, and appointed the idiot underneath him to be his superior. He told him truthfully everything the investigator told him. And then there's right now. He learns that not only did this guy be honest with him about his past, he was going to take responsibility and possibly marry his daughter if he got her pregnant. And while Warren, he didn't respect Deku because of the way he is and acts as a person to his knowledge, there is that second part. Deku would have been an actual man. He would have stepped up and taken responsibility. And there's something about that he respects. Deku, he doesn't seem to work very hard. He seems to have things very easy. He doesn't understand how a hard day at work is. That's how Warren perceives Deku. But that second part, being able to step up and own your own mistakes. Granted, yeah, this is an extreme case of it, but Deku, he didn't hesitate from what he's hearing from his wife. And he can respect the hell out of that. Now, this actually does somewhat conflict with the way Warren does think. He kind of wants to try and talk to his daughter, or possibly even just talk to Deku now. Sit him down and have a conversation. Since, well, the man is dating his daughter. And he does kind of view Deku a bit differently right now. He thought Deku was just some rich, irresponsible young guy. And from what he's hearing, with not only Deku's inventions, but the stress he's putting on getting them recovered, it's easy to tell what he might be thinking. Deku, he's a caring person. The man he thought Deku was a rich, egotistical, alcoholic warmonger. But really, he's not. The amount of concern and anger Deku expresses with his inventions being used like that clearly shows he cares. And it's not just that. The moment he learned that, oh, he made a mistake, one that just can't be wiped away, like getting a girl pregnant, he was going to step up and be a man about it. Be there. But now that he's thinking about it, Deku's past, the way he acted, the anger he just expressed and showed, everything he's done, it's starting to make sense. He kind of is starting to understand Deku in a certain way. Meanwhile, at the same time, he's realizing a few things about his daughter. He's realizing, not really a lot, but he's understanding the pressure they may have put on her. While they do butt in a lot and try to stop her from doing some of the things she does occasionally, or from a daily to daily basis sometimes, it's clear to tell that she likes doing that stuff. She likes being a hero, going out there and fighting crime. And they don't really like that. But even then, she is starting to at least express a bit more of her feminine side from what her mother does express or even really talk about. Mirko's mother always wanted that. And Warren, he's happy that that's at least starting to happen now. But really, what he's thinking about right now, it's that the way his daughter reacted with getting so angry at them, she doesn't seem like she wants anything to do with them. But that kind of can't be blamed. It annoys Warren. He tries to think about it the same way he tries to think about a business dealing right now. Because he's just so used to that. Deku is his boss. And right now, what he just did, what he's just heard, it snapped him back to reality so fast, it almost gave him whiplash. And he doesn't know what else to say. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.